Welcome, everyone, to Geeky Geezers presents the Geek Gulag. I am your host, Agent Boomer, and tonight we have special guests. We have Big Al to my right,
Hello.
and underneath we have Deleted Scenes, sporting a pretty nifty new avatar.
Thank you. Yeah, trying something new.
Cool. So here we are. Welcome, everybody. Troy is out of town this week, and like always, I decided, like the last time this happened, let's do a different type of show this week. Come to think of it, though, I don't know what's been going on in popular culture news that was worth talking about. I know if you check out in the link below Deleted Scenes channel, he was talking about the Superman casting. Mm-hmm. So that was I guess that was the biggest news of the week, I think, as far as geek news goes.
Sadly, lost a couple.
I didn't know Alan Arkin passed away.
Alan Arkin.
Glenn Ross. And I do recommend you guys check out The Return of Captain Invincible. It was an Australian production.
I'd never heard of it. When that got brought up, I immediately Googled it.
Did you look up you should watch the trailers sometime. It has musical numbers in it. Christopher Lee sings in it. Because Christopher Lee plays the supervillain Captain Mr. Midnight. That's the supervillain he plays in it.
Awesome.
And I guess Captain Invincible is like a Superman type coming out of retirement to save the day. It's a weird little movie. It did get a Blu-ray release, I think last year. Severin put it out in a Blu-ray, in a fancy Blu-ray edition. But welcome everyone. Welcome Daniel Herron. I hope you're feeling well. I think. I hope you're feeling not as awful as last time. There we go. I kind of flubbed that.
That's right. Alan Arkin was in Rocketeer. How about that?
He was? Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Did he have a mustache in that?
I don't.
He was the guy. He was his friend. That was
he was the mechanic guy.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to the chat. Okay, Deleted Scenes. Thank you for popping in. Oh wait, never mind. First, our Dungeons and Dragons game. Welcome. Just hope Wizards of the Coast doesn't send Pinkertons to your house over that title. I'm joking. I made that joke before the stream. Hi everybody. Welcome to Zootopia. Joshua V. Welcome. Oh, that's right. Troy and Nitter came to your wedding yesterday. Hope it was a good one. Mm-hmm. It was a vow renewal, correct? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. And as always, check out Daniel Herron's channel. He's got stuff going on there, too. Eventually, we're going to get back on track, probably when he's feeling better, or we're going to do a Casino Royale rewatch. I read the book.
He had a good conversation with Eric Woods about
Indiana Jones, right? I need to check that out, but I know he had that on his channel. I know that you recently saw it too. Is that right, Big Al? You had
yes, and my review is up on my channel.
Yeah, so definitely check out Big Al's channel. You can see his link in the description underneath the on my channel below. I'm trying to think though. Yeah, I've read the book Casino Royale. I'll talk more about the book when I'm on Birdman stream about how things differ from the movie series, like the fact that Bond is not incessantly pining over Vesper after she dies. That's not happening in the books. That's not. Wait. All right, but how's your week going? Deleted Scenes.
I had a bit of a snag this weekend, and I'm going to be talking about that later on midnight. But
okay. Yeah, be sure
otherwise, yeah, physically I'm fine. It's been in the 90s here, so we're kind of baking a little bit down here.
No, it's hot in Florida too.
It is hot as hell.
No one comes down here.
It's always hot in Florida. Yeah. I have a aunt that lives down there, and every time she comes up here and it's 80 degrees, she's cold.
Yeah, your body adjusts to the temperature. Even when you think it's hot, your body will eventually adjust just to keep up. But then you go to another state, and then you're freezing at the lowest drop. No one does it better than Birdman. Yep. Oh, that I see. That's a nod to The Spy Who Loved Me. So here we go. Here is our first news story of the night on the Geek Gulag. Did you guys check out my thumbnail, by the way?
Yes.
But yes, I saw the puppets.
I don't. I lost the original thumbnail, so I had to make a new one for the Geek Gulag. But I like showing Muppets and depressing, horrible things. Like the first time it was them, they were all in prison, and like their hands were sticking out of the jail. And this one, I don't know. It's just you have one that looks like he's about to get guillotined, and just
Oh yeah, that was like, I was like, what am I getting into tonight?
I don't know. Well, let's see here. We got the first news story of the night. I know. Let's see. Oreo drops limited edition Super Mario cookies with different characters in every pack. It's me, Mario. On Monday, July 10th, Oreo's latest cookie collaboration with Nintendo's famous platforming plumber Mario is hitting store shelves after a successful pre-sale period. The limited edition Oreo X Super Mario cookies features 16 different designs inspired by the game, ranging from classic characters like Mario and Luigi to famous ones like Bowser Jr. and the Goombas. Opening each pack will give eaters a chance to uncover new designs as each one is filled randomly. Fans are already hyped about the partnership. Can we all agree that when the Super Mario themed Oreos come out, we're only going to refer to them as Super Marios? One user tweeted. Notably, Princess Peach is missing from the collaboration, but Oreo is calling on gamers and snackers alike to help take down Bowser and track down the Mushroom Kingdom Royal. Fans can help beat the Koopa King with a scrumptious social media challenge. Oreo is tasking fans with stacking as many heroic treats atop a villainous Bowser cookie that's bouncing on the rim of a glass of milk. Stack the cookies as high as they'll go until they take a tumble into the milk, defeating the Mario villain. We hope to unite cookie lovers and Super Mario enthusiasts alike with this playful mission inspired by the storyline fans know all too well, said Vishnu Nair, senior brand manager at Oreo, in a release. We may even reveal a surprise as a thank you to those who successfully defeat Bowser and save the kingdom. Fans will have to wait and see. Mario's been popping up everywhere in addition to the successful box office run on the silver screen with the Super Mario Brothers movie. The Nintendo character serves as the main inspiration for the Super Nintendo world at the Universal Studios Hollywood. The Oreo X Super Mario Cookie Pack is an Oreo's first pop culture collaboration. In December 2020, the band teamed up with music superstar Lady Gaga for sandwich cookies inspired by the star's album Chromatica. The electrifying treat came in bright hues with pink golden Oreos that were stuffed with green cream and finished with Chromatica-inspired designs etched into each cookie. This collab is inspired by the world of Chromatica, where kindness rules all things, said Lady Gaga at the time. I love these pink cookies with the green cream and hope they brighten your day as much as they do mine. All right, any thoughts?
Man, I'd like to have a mess of Oreos right now.
I don't know. You think the Mario collaboration, this is going to be another winner?
I don't see why not. Mario's hot right now. I think it would have been better if they had released it a few months ago when the movie was actually out.
Yes.
Originally, timing sometimes is everything. But Oreos are always going to be popular, and you put a bright, shiny Nintendo character on it. I don't think, the kids are going to love it, and anyone else, as long as it's an Oreo and tastes like an Oreo, they'll be fine with it.
They should put Princess Peach on the golden Oreos.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Everybody'd like to take a little nibble of Princess Peach.
What do you
See,
think?
that might be the reason they didn't do that, because with all the possible jokes out there.
Of course, yes. Deleted scenes. What do you think?
Well, I mean, Super Mario, very popular right now, gaining new fans because of the film, fans of all ages, really, and now's the perfect time to sort of expand that fan base. So.
Yeah, and I've seen Mario-themed things before. This is nothing new. Even back in the 80s, they had Mario-themed ice cream sandwiches you could buy, and even more recently, I've seen there was a Super Mario cereal that came out years ago. which I did not partake in, which I regret now, but can't turn back the clock. And there you can buy Mario themed fruit snacks. They're available on the store shelves, usually with Paw Patrol and Disney Princess fruit snacks. You can find them all in the same area. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I said, you really can't go wrong with this because Oreos will sell anyway. It's only an upside for both brands, I
What
think.
happened to Hydrox?
I don't know, but that is Hydrox is still. I always think of Parks and Recreation when I hear Hydrox because someone he's comparing it like there's these two businesses and he goes, "We are Oreo, you are Hydrox." You know, he's like saying how good they are.
I don't know. I like them both.
Yeah, I mean they're both good. I mean, even like your basic store brand cream cookie.
Yeah, but
Still
not
better
all.
than nothing.
No, I'm sorry. There is one thing that's better than nothing, and that's not better than nothing. That's Vienna fingers. Oh no.
Oh,
Have you had those before? Do you know what I'm
are
talking about?
they like the oblong
Yes.
sandwich cookies with
Yes.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't had them in a long time though.
No.
But they were not I know they were not my thing.
I think I tolerated them when I was a kid, and as I've gotten older, I think I made a Facebook post many years ago saying Vienna fingers are the cookies they serve you in hell. That's what I said. No, they're just not good. Like golden Oreos are so much better. You want a yellow cookie instead of a chocolate cookie. Get that. Just not this. I don't know where these are popular. Maybe you need some coffee with them. I don't know. This just no. And Keebler puts out some good stuff, but this is not one of them. Unless you maybe have different thoughts with deleted scenes. I don't know. Do you like Vienna fingers?
Vienna fingers. I haven't had those in a while.
Yeah.
Not against them though. I'm all for them. Cookies, yes. Point away. All you got to do is look at me until I know where to find cookies. But
Yeah, they're cookies that taste like chalk. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tastes differ. Maybe pick yourself up a 4-pack and not a whole pack, just to refresh your memory. Don't buy a whole thing.
So I guess we're like the Necco wafer cookies.
I love Necco wafers. What were those? Were those popular? The 60s?
They've been around forever. I always thought Necco wafers for me were always the best things to use for gingerbread house roofs for shingles.
In my other RPG longest running Supers game, I had a Martian Manhunter knockoff that was addicted to Hydrox cookies. Interesting. I know that oh, I see. He's the knockoff, so he's interested in Hydrox instead of Oreos. Funny. I don't know. They used to make a DC role playing game, remember?
Oh yeah.
Back in the day. My brother had a module for it. You saw it was like Wheel of Fortune or something, except Vicky Vale was attached to the wheel and the Joker was about to spin it. I remember that being a cover of one of the modules. So
yeah, I'm checking out Vienna fingers here because I had to.
No.
Yeah, vanilla fudge cream filled sandwich cookie. Oh, $3.79. Yeah, no.
I don't know. Maybe skip that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember those things. Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Anyway, in case anybody in the chat wants to know, my favorite cookie is the windmill cookie, the Dutch windmill cookie. That is my favorite cookie.
Dutch windmill cookie?
Yes. Ever have them?
Nah, I'm not familiar with those.
Archway makes a good one. They're shaped like windmills. I am assuming they were invented in Holland, and they have almonds in them.
Ooh, now I love it. I like Archway. Archway is a great brand.
Yeah,
I like Archway's molasses cookies.
Those are excellent.
Oh,
yeah. You get a bag of those. Those are excellent.
Yes.
Okay. So, windmill cookies. See, everybody's liking the stream so far. There's no ranting. We're just talking about positive things. Oh wait, now to the next article. Here we go. So. Next up is the original Garbage Pail Kids movie was a horror serial killer story. Either of you familiar with the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
Yes. I mean, I never saw it, but I know know
either.
of it.
How about you, Deleted Scenes? You ever see the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
I did not. No.
Okay, so I'm alone in the water here. It was a horrendously terrible movie made back in the 80s. I did not see it in the theater, but for some reason it ended up on Showtime. And when you're a kid, it's like, hey, it's on Showtime. I'll watch it a couple dozen times. Then you realize that this really is not a good movie.
I mean, it's nightmare fuel when you really look at the character designs.
Yeah, they look like they did on the cards, but it doesn't work right. Garbage Pail Kids, of course, was a humorous take on Cabbage Patch Kids, correct? The little card series.
Yeah.
I remember being in the, I think it was elementary school, and all the kids were collecting these things, and we were all buying these stickers. And I kept ending up with Messy Tessie. There were always some of the cards that you always got more of than anything else, and that was one of them. And I kept trying to trade them for cards I didn't have, but I don't know. All right. Before director Rod Amatou jumped on board to helm the Garbage Pail Kids movie in 1987, the movie was set to be directed by John Carl Buechler. Buechler was best known for directing films such as Troll, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, Ghoulies Go to College, and more. He mostly worked in special effects on a ton of film projects over the years. Buechler's original pitch for the Garbage Pail Kids was a straight up horror movie concept, and it sounds like it would have been an insane movie. What we do know about the story he pitched was that the Garbage Pail Kids would have spawned from radioactive sludge that had found its way to a garbage can filled with broken dolls, and it would have turned them into serial killers. That sounds like it would have been a much better movie than the one we got. A bunch of Garbage Pail Kids serial killers running around town murdering people. What a wild movie that might have been. What's funny is that Topps wanted something more lighthearted and kid-friendly. If you watch the movie now, it is definitely not lighthearted or kid-friendly. The movie is an absolute gross-out nightmare. I watched the movie a couple months ago, and I can't believe that it got made. And you can hear about it from their podcast they have on here. While Buechler did not direct the movie, he did work on the special effects and was the man behind the creation of the ultra creepy masks and costumes instead, which were torturous for the actors that had to wear them. When talking about working with the dwarves in the costumes, the director shared his take on the whole thing, and it was wild. This is what he said. We got dwarves and put heads on them and found out how long they could survive in there without breathing, and it turned out to be about 5-7 minutes. So you had to rehearse everything without the heads on, put the heads on, have a paramedic with a stopwatch, little SOBs go in there, and you say action, and you shoot until they can't breathe. As I rewatched the movie as an adult, I couldn't believe that this movie actually got made. Okay, concepts like a state home for ugly people, teenagers that look like adults attempting to kill a little kid, and Garbage Pail Kids watching a kid bathe in the middle of the basement are also wildly wrong. So what did you think about the serial killer horror version of the film? Would you have liked to have seen that one get made? I say yes.
I think that would have worked. And I mean, look at Child Play, kind of did a similar.
This would have predated Child's Play if they had done that.
I hear you say that was an idea ahead of its time, it seems.
Yeah. How about yourself, Deleted Scenes, Woody?
While I didn't see the film, I'm well aware of what it was and what the Garbage Pail Kids were. I could easily see it done as a serial killer. Maybe get the people who did the Winnie the Pooh movie this year to go and do it. Who knows?
Could you? I wonder how expensive the rights are to Garbage Pail Kids.
I don't know.
I did buy the what do you call it? Topps a while back. They would release these books you could buy that had all like pictures of all the trading cards in the books, and I did buy the Garbage Pail Kids series, and also their Wacky Packages series of books as well. Do you remember Wacky Packages?
Doesn't ring.
What?
Doesn't ring a bell.
No wacky packages? You deleted scenes?
Nope.
I know what to do for the next good old days next week. All right. Okay. I liked Roybot, who had a Robotech Macross appearance. Oh, interesting. So that must have been one of the Garbage Pail Kids. This, of course, like I said, it was a takeoff on what do you call it? Cabbage Patch Kids. These horrible dolls that all the girls wanted, and I don't know if any boys bought any of them or not. But what do you think?
My mother had one. Cabbage Patch.
All right. Was it cool?
Kid. It was just this bald-headed little boy with the same name I did, except spelled different.
Okay.
Alan Davis. I still remember his name.
Interesting. All right. So here we go. Next story of the night. Liberation Hall's home release of Project Alf will be the Cat's Meow for fans of our favorite Melmacian. Are you Alf fans? Did you watch it back in the day?
I loved Alf. Yes, I watched it all the time.
How about you deleted scenes?
I didn't see every episode, but again, that was something I was aware of at the time. Yeah.
All right.
I've got a stuffed Alf on my bookcase in here.
I used to have the Alf puppets from Burger King. Remember, you could get them from Burger King, and they come with a record.
I had one too.
Yeah.
Don't remember that. No, I just have the one that they, the big one that they sold.
I got you. I love Alf. So Liberation Hall's home release of Project Alf will be the Cat's Meow for fans of our favorite Melmacian. This is an interesting little thing. September 22nd, 1986, television changed forever when the fuzzy, wisecracking, cat-eating alien from the planet Melmac crash-landed through the roof of the Tanner family garage. The 80s were a wild time when odd couple-friendly comedy and sitcoms couldn't go with the typical anymore. The Odd Couple Perfect Strangers, Mr. Belvedere, and needed something a little more high concept. For this, actor, writer, director Paul Fusco, Alf, created the character of Gordon Shumway, more commonly known by the acronym ALF, Alien Life Form. Alf's series ran for 4 seasons, with its 1990 season 4 episode, Consider Me Gone, ending on a cliffhanger in which Alf is captured by the U.S. government instead of catching a ride from some friends and finally getting off Earth. With no more episodes coming, fans of the series couldn't help but panic as they didn't know what was to become of their favorite primetime Muppet. That is until ABC aired Project Alf on February 17th, 1996 in North America, and we learned what went down. Did you know this movie existed?
Yes, I watched it.
Okay, I'd never heard of it. I knew that the series had the finale where he was about to go home and then the Air Force captures him and then it's left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember what happened in the movie, but I remember when it was on.
Okay. So now Liberation Halls offers the chance to revisit the end of Alf via a home release of Project Alf on both high-definition Blu-ray and standard-definition DVD, as well as a few bonus materials. Since being captured by the U.S. government, Alf's voiced by Fusco, been in the hands of the U.S. Air Force's Alien Task Force, where he's been subjected to rigorous testing for them to learn as much as possible about him, where he comes from, and the technology used to bring him here. But Alf's gonna Alf and ends up giving more grief unto his handlers than answers. However, not everyone on the project has the patience to put up with Alf's antics, specifically Colonel Gilbert Milfoil, played by Martin Sheen, putting Alf's life in jeopardy. Unfortunately, in trying to save Alf's life, 2 team leaders on the project, Major Melissa Hill, Jensen Daggett, and Captain Rick Mulligan, William O'Leary, may end up trading the frying pan for the fryer. If you've ever been a fan of Alf, Project Alf is exactly what you expect it to be. For better or for worse, Alf's loud, obnoxious, pretty gluttonous, and fairly misogynistic, but we give him a pass because he's also pretty funny, and the timing of his jokes lands more than he misses. The film itself does a great job answering the 3 main questions one may have had post-season 4 of the show. What happened to the Tanners? What happened to Alf? What happens next? The answers are witness protection, research, and the kind of ridiculousness you'd expect with a more adult tone. The original program ran on NBC as a sitcom, requiring it to follow certain standards and practices circa 1986 to 1990. The film, however, was broadcast by ABC in the U.S. as a television movie in 1996. And while there were some places a film like this won't go in order to maintain the expected audience, it also does include a scene in the Tarnished Strip Club in California. So it's not likely that scene would have worked in the TV show during the original era it ran. The biggest thing that it will either delight or alienate its audience is the cast, a literal cavalcade of comic talent of the time that has one wondering if Project Alf is a Muppet-esque production or maybe someone called in some favors. The main cast includes William O'Leary of Hot Shots, Jensen Daggett, Major League Back to the Minors, Miguel Ferrer, RoboCop, and Martin Sheen, The West Wing. But also Scott Michael Campbell, Shameless, Charles Robinson, Night Court, John Shuck, MASH, Lenny Wolf, Baby Talk, Ed Begley Jr. from Transylvania 65000, Ray Walston, my favorite Martian fame, and Beverly Archer, Mama's Family, among others. As someone who was roughly the right target audience for both the television show and the film when they released, though only seeing the film for the first time now, most of the jokes land and the narrative as a whole entertains. One wonders, though, how well the same things would play for an audience of the same age now, without being aware of who some of these actors are and why the inclusion brings such delights. Let me see. For quick context, I watched both the pilot and final episodes in preparation for this and consumed both with my eldest, who's close to that age I would have been when the first episode of the original show premiered. Both episodes amused him, and he'd like to watch more. Unlike his father, though, he doesn't have access to Nick at Night, TBS, or other methods of consuming programs before my time, like My Favorite Martian or of my youth, Night Court, in order to understand the hilarity of the brief faces to the narratives. As Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Universe producers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller stated in a recent Variety article, and the audience in the theater cannot be sustained on Easter eggs and reveals. This quote is in reference to the fatigue audience feel regarding viewing the same kinds of films told in the same way, but it stands here. A lot of the early jokes in Project Alf require an awareness of the period and the actors in order to fully take in what the co-writers, Tom Patchett of Alf and Fusco, are going for. I do think someone could enjoy this as a thing unto itself, as long as you've watched the TV series in preparation, but on its own, would not recommend. Liberation Hall is offering two versions of Project Alf, Blu-ray only and DVD only. For the purpose of this review, MVD Entertainment Group provided a Blu-ray retail copy. The disc comes in a standard Blu-ray plastic case with only the disc and outside liner. The artwork on the cover is simple. You can see at the bottom of the review. And the back includes a few stills as well as promo photo of Alf. The on-disc materials are limited to cast crew bios, a photo gallery, and trailers for the RoboCop TV series. Sprucing things up a little is a feature-length commentary track of Fusco, which is accessed through the audio setup options. Considering he's the brains of Alf, if you've seen the film before, putting that on is bound to teach you a thing or two about the character and making of the film. As for the presentation, the video is immaculate, far better looking than one would expect for a 1996 TV movie. There's nothing about cinematographer Henry M. Lebo's work that implies lower grade production value. In fact, the design of the sets and costumes support the sensation of elevation for the original vibe of the series, raising the bar on expectations. Though the audio is 2.0, a downgrade from the current 5.1 and higher home theater systems, the on-disc presentation is clean and clear with no hints of degradation or aging. From time to time, an argument occurs regarding sound on older releases not being upconverted or remastered for new systems, but maintaining the original sound is a part of experiencing the piece in its original form, and here especially there's no need for 5.1 plus. The 2.0 is appropriate for preservation. Prior to learning about the home release of Alf, I hadn't given much thought to the refugee from Melmac, but in a recent Target run, my eldest and I came across an Alf figure for sale. So clearly there remains an audience hungry for Alf merchandising. Amusingly, even though there is no significant date occurring now, neither for the kickoff or for the final broadcast, owner of the license, Shout Factory, is hosting Alf on Alf June 24th and July 2nd on Shout TV, in which Fusco and Patchett chat about their creation. Additionally, you can find episodes of the original series online via Shout Factory or streaming on Freevee. All in all, as someone who grew up with Alf on my lexicon, the finale entertains while offering a solid ending for the series. New episodes are purely up to Shout Factory at this point, but if it ended here, the closure offered provides enough satisfaction to be okay with it. If you're like me, then snagging this to resolve your curiosity won't feel like a waste. But if you're coming to this without a sense of the era players, you might not enjoy it as much. So I'm fascinated by this. I did not know this movie existed.
I remember when it was broadcast. I watched it. I just don't remember anything about it.
The movie, okay.
But yeah, the movie. I would like to say I wonder if they would come out with a full complete Alf package, like all seasons and Project Alf.
And the Project Alf.
Yeah, all in one.
Here's the issue. Alf, I know, was shot on video. I don't think it was shot on film back in the day. This was a problem with certain sitcoms. Now, we've seen, like with Doctor Who with the BBC, you can still upgrade video. It's not the same as film, though. But apparently you can still catch it streaming, so there must be a HD version of it out there somewhere, right? I don't know.
I really don't know. I know the last time I really, Alf kind of was put into culture is watching Young Sheldon. Do either of you watch Young Sheldon?
I know of it. I've not seen it. I've watched Big Bang Theory, but not Young Sheldon.
Yeah, Sheldon's sister Missy loves Alf and wants to marry him, and she wrote him a letter. And at like the end of the show, in the bumper, they show Alf reading her letter. And it's Alf sitting at a desk, and he's like, "Hey, honey, can we get this girl? She sounds like a cutie." It was just really funny to see Alf there, being his Alf self.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. Do you think we could be due for an Alf reboot or sequel? Maybe.
I don't know if it would work as like a series. But I think maybe another film or
like a comedy movie, maybe
or a short series, like something like Netflix would do, like 8 episodes, a little adventure. He finds a new family, or or something like that. Something happens and he has to find a new family.
Maybe.
And then kind of wait and see how the reaction is. Maybe do another little season.
I remember him being in a guy's office at Area 51 being questioned by some bigwig. I remember thinking they were sort of spoofing in the X-Files. Oh, was that on the Alf movie? Right. Okay, the Alf Project Alf movie. But, okay. I don't know. I think Alf should do more of an Elvira thing where he hosts B movies. Wouldn't it be funny if they had had Alf hosting like a B movie night, and it would be like old 50s sci-fi like horror movies and stuff. Right? Wouldn't like giant ant movies like them. He would host them or something. Yeah.
Or do like a talk show or a podcast or so. You just have the guy Fusco just be Alf.
Yeah.
Do the with the voice and the puppet and everything, and just kind of have a talk show. I think something like that would work.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. Is he stuck in the 80s or not? But I didn't even realize this existed. Mm-hmm. But Miguel Ferrer, wasn't he on Twin Peaks? If memory serves?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So he's in the Alf movie. It's weird. Okay.
Yeah, I remember when you were talking about the stars of it, you said Jensen Daggett. I remember that name rings a bell. And I looked at her, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember her.
She's easy on the eyes, right?
Easy on the eyes. I just remember seeing her in a few things and just appreciative.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you were reading through the cast list, and I was like, you had me at Jensen Daggett.
Yeah.
What's funny is I keep thinking Alf is what I watched before I discovered Beavis and Butthead, so that probably was what it was. That was edgy for the time on regular TV was Alf.
Yeah, because like I say, he was Wisecrack. It was not PC, and he was always trying to eat the cat.
He would aggravate the father of the household. That was his whole thing. He would do things in the episode to aggravate Willie, I think his name was.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, him and his wife had a son and a young daughter.
Yeah.
I remember one episode where there was a I think he left. I forget what it was, but he left something in his ship that a cockroach fed on, and it was a Melmacian cockroach, so it got huge. It was like a giant monster, and they had to deal with that in the episode. It was like the only time I saw like anything alien related on there, like the cockroach that was lost in his ship, and I think it ate something and got huge, and it was just, I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that show now.
They had baseball on Melmac, but it was Beulah baseball. It was played with fish. You would throw fish, because Anyway, moving on. I used to get Beulah baseball cards. I'm really so top. I think maybe might have been Tops that sold them.
Alf had a talk show.
He did.
Alf's hit talk show debuted U.S. cable channel TV Land in 2004.
I missed it, but maybe you can catch it on YouTube or something, right? I don't know.
And there was a canceled reboot in 2018.
Oh, see, they were planning to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
Boo! Who canceled it?
Warner Brothers was going to produce it, but
Warner Brothers
got canceled. It says.
Yeah, that was when the idiots were running things over there. I'm sorry, did I say that?
Well, I just spent a whole hour lambasting Walter Hamada.
Oh. And the woman that got rid of Johnny Depp from the Fantastic Beast, that basically blew up that movie series by doing that.
Yeah, nobody cares anymore.
That movie series. You went to the trouble of setting him up as the big reveal at the end of the first movie, and he was going to be the major villain, and then you, because of false allegations, you canned him, and then you replaced him, and then nobody went to go see part 3, and now that's done. Now they're rebooting Harry Potter over there. They're going to do it as a TV series, which I'm sure J.K. Rowling is fine about at this point.
Yeah, I like they kicked him off, but Ezra Miller.
They kept him on it.
Stayed.
Yeah, well, probably something I'll be talking about. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny box office, because that probably would have been a story I would have liked to have talked about tonight, but I don't think we're going to have a clear picture until next week, because, I don't know. I guess it's still technically 4th of July weekend until 4th of July, so...
Yeah, I don't know how much that's going to help, though.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm not encouraging anybody to ride the high seas. Not encouraging, but what you do in the privacy of your own home.
What I mean? Nudge.
What we want to think about, though, if the box office is as bad as we think it's going to be. People tend to be punished in this life, or at least in the entertainment industry, for their mistakes, not their sins. And I think I know what the mistakes are with both this movie and with The Flash, what the big mistakes were. And I think it's mainly about putting lead actors in there who you pretend aren't your leads, but they really are, and then nobody's heard of either of these. Well, people have heard of Ezra Miller, not in a good way. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I'm sorry, her biggest claim to fame is a 12-episode Amazon series. She may have done a lot of stuff behind the camera, but she's not been in a ton of movies.
Yeah, they're saying right now $60 million domestic, 130 million global.
Okay. We'll wait and see. Say goodbye to the iconic Gulf War Game Boy. I'm hearing crickets. Have either of you heard of this before?
No.
Yes, I was a subscriber to Nintendo Power back in the day, probably around the time of the Gulf War when it was going on. And actually, let me read the article first, and we'll probably talk a bit about it. But I do remember this from back in the day. Gulf War veterans have lost another comrade today, especially veterans who were gamers. The Nintendo store in New York City has retired the iconic Game Boy that survived an explosion during the war. Tanuki Joe, the Twitter user behind the account at Video Game Art and Tidbits, which delivers high-resolution video game and retro gaming memorabilia, took to a social media platform and said the extremely damaged Game Boy was officially retired from Nintendo New York after its exhibit was absent for some time. They said that during a recent visit to the store, an employee confirmed it was because it had been returned to Nintendo of America's headquarters in Washington State. The Go 4 Game Boy has officially been retired from Nintendo at New York City, they said. After not seeing it on display for a while, I asked one of the workers about it. He told me it was returned to Nintendo's headquarters in Redmond, Washington. In 1991, the original Game Boy was nearly destroyed in a barracks bombing during the Gulf War. Its plastic casting got scorched by the fire, the motherboard was exposed, and the A and B buttons were melted along with the D-pad buttons. All damages that rendered the toy useless. According to Esquire, Stephen Scoggins, the medic who stored the handheld system in the barracks, sent the damaged Game Boy to Nintendo for repair with a note that read, "Fortunately, this Game Boy, several game packs, and sundry other personal items were the only casualties claimed by a fire. When the Nintendo technicians tested the Tetris cartridge that came with it, they were shocked to discover the Game Boy still worked. While we don't know what retirements plans Nintendo of America has in mind for the charred Game Boy, it's truly a miracle it managed to survive the Gulf War and live to tell the tale from within Nintendo's store near Rockefeller Center. It's a piece of gaming history that belongs in a museum." I remember this was a Nintendo Power. The guy sent a picture to Nintendo, put this in their magazine. Yeah, this was a Game Boy that got heavily burned and damaged during a Gulf War fire, but it was such a well-made product that still survived. I mean, you could still play a cartridge on it.
That's a testament towards craftsmanship.
Yes.
And they did go ahead and send the guy a replacement Game Boy since they couldn't fix it. They were like, we'll make an exception since this was, they sent him a replacement, and I guess they held on to it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat. This thing withstood I remember when that happened back in 89 or 90 when I saw that article. I remember though everybody wanted a Game Boy back in the 80s and 90s. That was the hot portable system, but and of course this was before the days of. It's interesting what soldiers in different periods had over there because, I guess the Game Boy was the big thing in the original Gulf War, but the subsequent wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, I think they were big on the Xbox, which they played Halo a lot. I heard that, but interesting. Okay,
well, sometimes you're away from, you're by yourself. Get your Game Boy out and play a little Tetris.
What? Yes, stop the bullet. Oh, that's right. Misremembered it. Rich kids had the games, boys. I don't know. Okay, I remember. No, well, I'm going to tell you. As a kid, the rich kid had the Turbo Express. I was a big fan of the game console, the TurboGrafx 16, which was like an early competitor for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, though it didn't really make a splash over here in North America. I did own one. I had cartridges, but there was a portable version of it where you could take the actual cards you played on the home console and play them on the go. And I wanted one of these things in the worst way, but it was like $300. This was in 80s money. I didn't have that kind of money, so. But anyway, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, it's good. I've never been a gamer, but it is it's a shame that it's not going to be on display because one, like I said, it shows the craftsmanship, but two, just being that little piece of history.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been sent. At least they'll probably keep it someplace safe, and maybe one day they'll put it on display again. We'll see. I think Nintendo, though, they release classic NES and classic Super Nintendo. They need to release a Game Boy Classic, like a replica console with a bunch of games on it. I would buy one of those in a heartbeat, especially if they gave it a backlit screen, because the original Game Boy was not backlit. This is why the game Tetris, if you watch that movie, you watched the movie Tetris, right, on that that Apple put out? The Tetris movie?
Yeah.
the reason why Tetris was such a huge deal for that Game Boy was that you don't need fancy graphics to play Tetris. If you saw the Russian guy made it on a computer that had no graphics card, you know.
Yeah, it was.
So,
It was a stroke of genius, just using whatever. I don't know what, I forget exactly what symbol he used.
I think he used the brackets to build the shapes out of.
You're right. It was
his original version.
Yeah,
and same goes for the Game Boy. The Game Boy had 4 shades of green that you could base your graphics out of. And to be fair, developers did some interesting things with the Game Boy. I think it's a great little portable game console, but that's why I said I'd love to see them release a spruced up version of it now. But we'll see. But welcome, I Suck at Games channel. I had the Chinese knockoff of all consoles. And I don't know. I'm sure they make them now, too. Anyway, moving on. Final article of the night for the Geek Gulag. This is an interesting one. Did you do the freebie, Big Al?
I have.
Okay.
I have access to it.
So here we go. We have Universal Monsters Channel and more coming to freebie as new NBCU free TV package. I think I'm sold already.
Hey, free, I'm there. Yeah, if you can get it, if you can get it just by signing on, that works for me.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. Welcome, Connie Cleary, to the chat. Okay. All right. NBC Universal announced 30 new free channels coming this summer for cord cutters and streamers who still want some of that traditional TV experience of channel surfing and finding something fun to watch. Free ad-supported streaming TV fast is a wonderful, often surprisingly robust alternative. Now NBC Universal is preparing to give you much more of this particular way to watch, complete with channels specifically for genre nerds. On Thursday, NBCU announced a new partnership with Xumo Play and Amazon Freevee to bring more than 24 new channels packed with NBCU Vault material to the Freevee platform this summer. The channels range in subject matter from unscripted TV to news to sports to classic shows of all genres pulled from NBCU's vast archive of programming. And they'll be available to watch completely free anytime. NBC Universal is in the enviable position of owning a vast array of iconic shows that are not part of our broadcast and cable network secure rate, a valuable portfolio of fast channels. Matt Schneers, president, NBC Universal Content Distribution, said in a press release, these channels with content from some of the most recognizable brands in television will find an immediate audience in the growing fast ecosystem and create value for NBC Universal, our distribution partners, and our advertisers. Let's see, NBCU Vault material heading to the Freevee platform. So what kind of programming are we talking about? Well, if you're a genre fan, you'll want to pull up Freevee and look for the new Alfred Hitchcock Presents channel for episodes of the classic anthology from the Suspense Legend, as well as the Universal Monsters channel for all things Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and more. Then there's the Universal Action channel for classic shows like Knight Rider, the Universal Crime channel for Columbo and beyond, a new channel for Murder, She Wrote, and much more. You can check out the full list of new channels over at NBCU's website. So how do you watch these new offerings? Well, all you need to do access Freevee is an Amazon login, no Prime subscription required, and you can watch through the Freevee app or on your web browser. So if you're looking to check these channels out, make sure you've got Freevee access and keep an eye out for the content to drop this summer.
Awesome.
This is interesting. We've talked about on this channel, at least on Geeky Geezers, about the streaming wars. And I've commented on how a lot of these streaming services remind me of the premium channels you had on cable, like HBO, Showtime. In fact, believe it or not, the Disney Channel, before it became a not premium channel, started out as a premium channel on cable. And now, as everybody's losing money figuring out what to do, it looks like Universal is figuring, why don't we just come out with a kind of like a normal cable channel, like the kind you would get with the cable with the cable package that would have commercials, like USA would have commercials or TBS or something. And it looks like that's what they're doing here. So it's kind of interesting how this is sort of the reverse. Originally, it was the cable. You would get the free, not the free channels, but the standard channels that had the commercials, and then you would get your premium channels. So I'm actually rather curious about this. What do you think?
I love this idea because I know Pluto does the same kind
Right.
of deal as
Yeah,
well. I just heard that a lot of Godzilla movies. There's a new Godzilla channel on Pluto.
Yeah, they should make a Godzilla channel. Yeah, there you go. And there you can watch your kaiju movies. Yeah.
So I think this is a fabulous idea. I like anything. Like I said, if you in a world where you have to pay for this and then that and then the other, it's nice to have something free.
And you get commercials, but to be fair, I don't think the commercials on these channels are as bad as they were on actual cable.
Yeah, I'll deal with commercials. That's no problem. I will watch 5 minutes of commercials before a film if I could watch the film without interruptions.
I love that. They need to make that an option too. I know it's funny when Hulu first started, they offered that as an option. Like if you watch the latest episode of The Office or something, they said, okay, you can watch it with the commercials throughout, or you can get all your commercials in the beginning. I said, you can multi me in the beginning. That way I can just watch it
right. Yeah, you just watch it straight through and just enjoy yourself. It's not so much in a TV show, but definitely in a film. It's nice to just keep that flow going.
And what's cool about this is I'm sure there's still a ton of Universal monster movies I haven't seen, I don't think I've ever seen Dracula's Daughter and things like that. So,
well, it's a wide genre, and a lot of films you wouldn't think about in the Universal thing. And if you want to know more about the Universal horror films, go to Iconic Universal Monsters on Facebook, run by this guy.
Oh, right. It's funny. They had a lot of weird Universal monsters. Like they even did some Poe adaptations, right? Like didn't they do the Black Cat? Wasn't that one of them with Karloff?
Black Cat and this was like the old Dark House with Karloff.
Yeah.
That's one. And I don't have it in front of me. It kind of goes out of my head when I. What's the one? Murders on the Rue Morgue with Lugosi, and there's a lot of great old films that everybody knows Dracula, Frankenstein, and that crew. But who remembers the Mad Ghoul or the Man-Made Monster?
Ghoul.
Or The Man Who Laughs.
The Man Who Laughs, I know of that because that was the original inspiration for the Joker, right?
Right, yeah. Of course, Phantom, Hunchback.
It's a lot of good stuff. Yeah. I don't know if they did a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That was Warner Brothers, I think. But,
Universal did not do that one.
Actually,
and of course, even like in the 50s, when you get into like Creature from the Black Lagoon, but you also have Tarantula, the Deadly Mantis, and you have This Island Earth, and ones like that. That is part of the Universal horror film verse. It goes up to like 61, I think, is the cutoff.
Okay, so definitely check out Freevee. It's available, I know, on most streaming devices. You can watch it on their website, on a computer. You could probably on your phone. But as David Lynch said, if you've watched a movie on your phone, you haven't really experienced it, right? Have you ever seen that little video they have on YouTube, deleted scenes?
I have.
Okay, with David Lynch, and it's like they pose it as an iPhone commercial, and it's funny. It's just,
yeah.
But
sometimes though, when all you have is a little screen, it comes in handy. I remember once we had an ice storm, and I didn't have TV for like a day and a half, and I was starting to lose my mind. And then I remembered I had one of those little battery operated TVs with like the extendable antenna. And
I had one of
was
those. Yeah, yeah.
trying to find the place in my house where I could get reception, and because I remember it was during there was Olympics going on, and I remember it was the year that Star Trek Next Generation had the episode with the like the young ensigns who are trying to.
Oh, is that the one where they got into trouble?
No, it just followed like four of them, and then like there was the one Beta Z, Bajoran, who went off to help the Cardassian guy, but she ended up getting killed.
Yeah, that was a follow-up episode to a prior one.
Yeah, because she was part of when Red Squad.
Yeah, and they got into trouble because they did a maneuver that got a classmate killed, and it was all about. I think Wesley was involved in it too.
Yep.
And I think they got reprimanded, but the team leader got kicked out of Starfleet. And
yeah,
Picard's very mean to her, right? He's like, but then you find out it's all a show to show how she was defecting or something, right? I don't know.
Well, he was rough on her, and she wondered why he would have her on the ship. He's like, because you deserve a chance.
Yeah.
And I know I will give you that chance, even though he's rough on her.
Well, he made mistakes too as a young Starfleet.
Yeah. So he's big enough to say that. But what's funny is you're talking about the previous the episode before that one. The guy who was the leader who gets kicked out was the same guy who played Tom Paris on Voyager, Robert Duncan McNeil.
Was it the same character?
No, same actor.
Pity. It would have been interesting if it had been the same character. Right?
It would have been. I think it would have been. Yeah.
Oh well, that was a missed opportunity, I think. But at least he was sort of the same type of character, though, someone who had been disgraced, and he was getting a second chance. What do you think? Deleted scenes, though? That Alfred Hitchcock Presents channel sounds interesting, huh?
It does. Yeah. I'm down for this. It's definitely something that I'm going to keep on my radar.
I used to catch that on Nick at Night, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Mm-hmm. You realize a lot of these episodes are based on short stories, too. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it.
Now, because they did some remakes of that, too. Like they did, remember they had like the Twilight Zone.
They did, and I think these were straight up remakes. I think they were just readapting the same scripts, whereas I think Twilight Zone was still original stories, right, when they were doing it.
Yeah, because I remember, I don't know if it was Alfred Hitchcock, but there was this one story where this woman gets attacked and she goes, she has to go through therapy and stuff, and she's out with her husband one night, and she sees a guy. She's like, "Oh my, it's the guy who did it. Mm-hmm. That's the guy who attacked me."
Yeah.
So he follows the guy, and he ends up, and the husband kills him. And then they're driving down the street. She goes, "Oh, there's the guy. That's him. That's the guy who attacked me." Every guy she sees, and he's like, "Oh my god, I killed an innocent man," because she's like freaking out.
That's a typical story from that era. That's like, that's like the whole paranoia. You always look for the twist, right? I remember that.
Yeah. The twist was she saw every guy that way, and he had killed someone who didn't do anything.
And they would end the episode there, right?
with the like realization that he had what he had done.
Maybe there'd be police sirens in the background coming up to them or something, but maybe not even that. It's just. Yeah. All right, but can't help but think of MST3K when I think of This Island Earth. Yeah, that was in the theatrical version of MST3K when that came out.
Yeah, we did a rewatch of This Island Earth on the Birdman channel a few months back.
Oh, I must have been on for that one.
Yeah,
that was probably during Halloween, right? Yeah, because I was indisposed at the time. But what was I going to tell you though? Check out Shot Factory TV. That's also, I believe, free, and there's a lot of stuff on there. Like Space 1999 is on there. Old episodes of MST3K. They got the Carol Burnett show on there. It's an interesting channel.
Carol Burnett show. Saturday nights in the 70s was all about Carol Burnett.
It's funny for me. Saturday nights in the '80s was all about Doctor Who reruns.
Yep, that too. Yeah, for me, like at 11:30 on PBS.
They'd show Doctor Who. Yep.
Yep, Doctor
I think it was a little earlier where I was, but yeah, it was. They'd have. It's weird. They would have like a 4:00 showing in the afternoon on Saturday. Then the other PBS channel we got in would do it at like 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, our PBS it was like 11 o'clock, and for me it was like just that late night adventure kind of thing. You know,
I miss those days. I'm hoping that maybe they should. The people doing this free stuff should maybe try to channel that old style TV. That might be kind of neat, actually, if they could bring that back. All right, but I guess that wraps it up for the Geek Gulag this week.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting out an hour early because Troy's not here, but he will be returning next week. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank my guest, Big Al.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite. And anytime you need a tag in geezer, just let me know.
Thank you. And you can check out link to Big Al's channel in the description below. He's always doing stuff on his channel. And Deleted Scenes, thank you also for attending. Appreciate it. And you have a show coming up at the after midnight tonight. It's
I do.
The Other Side of Midnight. So be sure to check that out tonight as well. But I'm trying to think what else. You got anything going on this week, Deleted Scenes?
Not so far. I'm waiting to hear back about a couple of things. So.
All right.
Possibly.
All right. Mm-hmm. And how about you, Big Al? I know you you just did a Saturday stream, so I don't know. Are you doing anything?
Yeah, we did. Clover. I couldn't think of it for a second. Did Cloverfield last night. I'm waiting. Birdman and I might do something on 4th of July on Tuesday.
4th of July, right.
And if the latest that we have talked about watching would be Jaws: The Revenge.
Huh.
Which I have never seen. The
fourth one?
The fourth one. I've never seen it. And so it would be kind of an event of me watching it for the first time.
You need to watch the Siskel and Ebert review for Jaws 4. They are not kind. They tear it apart. It's
wouldn't surprise me, man. I mean, I have heard terrible things, and but it's sometimes you gotta watch it for yourself sometimes and just get to know it. And I just have never gotten around to watching it, and I was like, I need to watch it one day, and now that's why we're doing Reptilicus in 2 weeks. Evelyn Hampton's been trying to get Troy and Nanette to watch it, and so I kind of did an end around, and I was like, I'll do a rewatch on my channel if you come on, and that's so they'll find. So yeah, we're having the Reptilicus in 2 weeks. Denmark's answer to Godzilla.
Denmark's answer to Godzilla. Okay.
Yeah, 1961.
All right, and I don't know if I'm trying to see what else is going on. I will be on Troy's stream on Friday. Friday Night Last Call will be live again. How did that go, by the way, Deleted Scenes? I'm sorry I had to duck out, but I had to get up for work early the next day. Did you guys like the pre-recorded? I mean, obviously we want to do them live whenever we can, but how did that turn out?
It worked.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it worked. There were a couple of points there where I was like, "Oh, you guys needed me there live." But
the trouble was when we're trying to think of what was the name of that song, the actor. I couldn't do a search for it because I was doing a share screen.
Right.
Because
and I'm sitting there like, "Oh, I know, but I can't tell them because it's recorded."
It's like you know it and the name is not popping in your head. That or it's early onset of me losing my mind, maybe. I don't know. But go ahead and check out the stream if you missed it. But it's some good stuff there. We did the summer of '82, and the idea behind that stream was I was trying to we don't have a chat to converse with, so I'm like, I have to pick a subject matter that's going to get us talking for 2 hours. Unfortunately, I think I overdid it, and we ended up doing, I think, for almost 3. And I'm like, I think I found out we're at the hour 50 mark, and I'm like, what? I have to get to bed at some point tonight, and I didn't realize we were going on that long. I should have had us do it on Wednesday instead. That might have been a better night. But I think we touched on every movie though, as well as Troy could. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, you two, for showing up for episode 2 of the Geek Gulag, and we'll see if there'll ever be an episode 3. I guess at some point there will be. These were some weird, goofy subject matters, but to be fair, it's been a very slow news week, except really for the Superman casting, which, as I said, you can check it out on Deleted Scenes channel. We talked about it before the stream. But I do like that Lois Lane they picked. I think that's a good actress. I don't know about the Superman yet, but I'm not for or against. I just don't know.
Yeah, give him some protein powder and bulk him up a little bit. And Rachel Brosnahan looks like class. I mean, she's classic.
She looks like a classic Lois Lane. Yeah, she has the look of classic Lois Lane. All right, y'all have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day.